Listen up. I'm not here to sell pretty photos or safe queens. I'm here to tell you which lever rifles actually get the job done with 357 Magnum feeding through the tube. This is about real-world performance, about how a gun handles when the light goes bad, the brush closes in, or you need a quick follow-up shot. You'll hear about balance, lever throw, sighting, and whether that rig will play nice with a can or a small red dot. If you already tote a 357 wheel gun, these carbines let you share ammo and simplify what's in your pack. That's practical, that's efficient, that's why people buy them. I'll walk you through each rifle with blunt detail, no marketing fluff, no glossy promises, just how they cycle, how they behave with hot hunting rounds and mild practice loads, and what you'll notice after a long day carrying one. You'll get the pros and the trade-offs so you can pick the rifle that fits your life hunting, ranch work, or backyard drills. Let's start at the bottom of the countdown. The Rossi Puma 92 earns attention because it gives you surprising value. This one wears the Winchester 1892 profile, and the internals are simple and stout. Out of the box, it's not fancy, but once you break it, the action runs clean and smooth. Recoil with 357 hunting loads is manageable because the rifle's weight and geometry soak a fair bit of kick. Accuracy surprises some folks. With decent ammunition, you'll see groups under 2 inches at 100 yards from a steady rest. That makes it perfectly useful for close to medium game and all-day plinking. You can also feed it 38 special for practice and save wear on your wallet. Sights and stocks are easy to swap. You can dress it up or leave it a hard-use truck gun. For shooters on a budget who still demand reliability, the Puma makes sense. Next up is the Uberti 1873 Winchester Repro. If you want Old West lines and honest fit and finish, this one speaks to that taste. Beautiful walnut, octagonal barrel options, and a long, gratifying lever throw give it a period-correct feel. But make no mistake, Uberti tuned these to function. The action cycles with a buttery rhythm once you learn it. That lever throw is a longer arc, but it's precise, so follow-up shots come with a confident timing. With proper 357 hunting ammo, it'll hold practical hunting groups at field distances. The sighting options are classic buckhorns up front and a semi-buckhorn rear, but the receiver will accept a low-ring optic for folks who want a modern touch. Internals are well-fitted, headspace is clean, and feeding from the tube tends to be forgiving across a range of loads. This rifle gives you character and real performance in the same package. Then there's the Taylor & Company 1892 Alaskan Takedown. This one is built for travel where ruggedness matters more than looks. It breaks into 2 pieces in seconds and stows easily in a packer boat locker. A 16-inch barrel keeps length manageable while still delivering usable velocity with 357 rounds. Coatings and finish choices favor corrosion resistance, so take this where wet, salty, or cold conditions are expected. Ergonomics are practical, large lever loop for gloved hands and sights designed to get you on target fast in low light. Feeding follows the Winchester pattern and is predictably reliable, which is exactly what you want when the weather is working against you. That Alaskan breakdown is where the rubber meets the road for travelers and wet weather hunters. From here, we move into the designs that blur the line between classic lever heritage and practical modern engineering rifles you'll actually reach for when the job gets ugly. First in that space is the Browning BLR, and if you haven't handled one, you need to know why it changed the rules for lever guns. The BLR uses a detachable box magazine, which means you can load aerodynamic, pointed Spitzer-style bullets without the safety headaches tubular magazines create. That design alone gives you better ballistic choices and more effective downrange energy if you want to push a little past close brush work. Mechanically, the BLR feels purposeful. The lever and bolt work with a crisp surgical cadence that rewards deliberate shots instead of frantic mag dumps. Because the platform accepts Spitzer bullets, hunters who care about one-shot ethics can pick flatter shooting projectiles that actually extend the rifle's usable envelope. If you plan to take marginal long shots from a skinny saddle or a shaky blind, the BLR gives you options that a tube-fed lever simply can't safely offer. Next up, the Chiappa 1892 takedown. Folks call it a travel trick with teeth, and for a reason. Chiappa's takedown variants separate fast and reassemble cleaner than most field kits, and the manufacturer ships versions in .357 Magnum that balance a compact footprint with legitimate terminal performance. You get short, packable transport and a rifle that still prints useful groups at hunting distances once you shoulder it. If you need a lever that disappears into a ruck or a boat locker but still settles into a steady cheek weld when the moment arrives, this is the one to study. On the modernized side of things, Smith & Wesson's Model 1854, specifically the Stealth Hunter trims, deserves careful attention. This rifle brings carbine utility into a lever package, with threaded barrels on many configurations and abundant accessory real estate via MLOK slots and an upper Picatinny rail. In practice, that means you can mount a low-power optic, a light, or even a can on variants that come threaded, and still use .357 ammunition that matches your revolver. Smith's take is built to be used. Easy to reload, easy to accessorize, and engineered for fast handling in the brush. All three of these rifles, the BLR, the Chiappa Takedown, and the Model 1854 show the spectrum of what modern lever actions can be. Precision-minded, packable, or mission configurable. Each answers a different question. Do you want reach and ballistics, portability, or modular utility? The wrong choice shows up in the worst possible moment. Choose wisely, because the next rifle on the list brings a different kind of confidence. One built on mass, lockup, and old school strength. What that platform offers will change how you think about pushing .357 beyond brush country. That platform's promise becomes concrete when you pick up a gun built for mass and confidence. Enter the Uberti 1886, the kind of lever rifle that feels like a small fortress in your hands. This is not a sprint weapon. It's a measured, heavy-hitting tool that forgives haste and rewards precision. The receiver is thick. The barrel contours are stout. The whole package eats .357 Magnum loads and barely blinks. When you shoulder it, the weight steadies your aim the way an anchor steadies a boat in chop. Follow-up shots are steady because the rifle refuses to dance. It simply holds where you point it. Mechanically, the action offers a longer, deliberate throw that reads as confidence under your hand. That longer arc isn't a flaw, it's a designed rhythm that forces you to breathe, settle, and take shots that count. Feeding is generous and forgiving. The 1886 tolerates a broad spectrum of lever loads, from mild practice rounds to hard-hitting hunting rounds. If you're after a lever that makes the most of a single well-placed hit, this one is a natural fit. It plays well with period-correct iron sights, yet it welcomes low rings and scout optics without turning a hair. Now listen, not every lever has to be a museum piece or a beat-up ranch tool. Henry's Big Boy X model is the lever action that refuses to live in nostalgia alone. It brings modern usability into the classic pattern, threaded barrels on many trims, MLOK slots on the forend, and synthetic furniture that shrugs off hard use. Mount a small red dot, clip on a light, or thread on a suppressor if your local rules allow it. The Big Boy X was built to take those options seriously. Ergonomics are friendly. The oversized lever loop makes running gloves a non-issue, and cycling is smooth enough that follow-ups become muscle memory rather than a fight. On the range, the Big Boy X is forgiving. It feeds a wide spread of factory and handload recipes and balances neutral so it points without fuss. That neutrality matters when you're switching between paper drills and a quick hunting stock. Maintenance is simple and parts are easy to find, which in real life means fewer excuses and more hours on the range. Finally, the Marlin 1894, the rifle that wins the top spot for a reason. Compact, honest, and built around practical performance, it's the tool most shooters reach for first and keep reaching for last. Its short, repeatable lever throw keeps muzzle disturbance minimal, which turns rapid follow-ups into usable hits instead of spray and pray. Feeding geometry is clean and predictable. The tube lines cartridges up in a way that reduces the little jams that cost you time and confidence in the field. Point of aim is natural, And whether you run buckhorns or a small red dot, the 1894 stays true to the shot. These three rifles, the Uberti 1886, the Henry Big Boy X model, and the Marlin 1894, represent the choices shooters make when they want different kinds of certainty, mass and momentum, modern utility, or compact, no-nonsense reliability. Each one will change how you think about pushing .357 past brush country and into purposeful shots where a single round has to do the job. Which one fits you depends on the job. But there's one more truth that ties them all together, and it's the thing too many shooters ignore until it's the only thing that matters. What is that truth, and why does it flip the whole conversation about lever rifles on its head? What is that truth, and why does it flip the whole conversation about lever rifles on its head? It's simple and brutal. The rifle only amplifies what you bring to the trigger. You can own the prettiest 1886, the most feature-laden Big Boy X model, or the plainest 1894, but none of them will rescue a bad round choice, a bad zero, or a shooter who hasn't learned to place shots under pressure. If you care about outcomes, the single most important variable is ammunition selection and training. Everything else is secondary. Let me put it another way. A .357 Magnum in the hand of a practiced shooter behaves like a tool of certainty. A .357 Magnum in the hand of someone improvising ammo choices becomes a roll of the dice. That's not hyperbole. That's range time, tracking wound channels, and listening to hunters tell the same story again and again. I should have brought the right load. A lever rifle magnifies that lesson because you typically carry fewer rounds and expect each one to count, so start with projectiles. If you want predictable terminal effect at hunting distances, pick a hunting-proven soft point or controlled expansion projectile from a reputable maker. Think HORN-ADEE or similar brands that develop bullets for consistent weight retention and expansion. Spitzer bullets work great when you have a box magazine or a BLR platform that accepts them, but in tube-fed guns, you're often limited to round or flat-nose projectiles for safety. Match the bullet shape to the magazine system and match the bullet construction to the quarry and range you expect to take. Next, velocity and barrel length. Running .357 Magnum out of a 16-inch or a 14-inch barrel will give you different velocities than a 20-inch tube. Know what your barrel length does to impact energy and expansion. Don't assume a hot handgun hunting load will behave identically out of a short carbine or a long rifle tube. Test it. Chronograph numbers and a handful of shot placement drills will answer more questions than forum arguments ever will. Then there's shot placement and one-shot ethics. A lever rifle sharpens the ethical imperative. One good hit ends the animal's suffering. One poor hit ruins the day. Practice from standing, kneeling, and improvised rests. Practice transitions and follow-ups until they feel like breathing. If you don't practice, the rifle becomes a paperweight with potential. Maintenance and reliability are the quiet weapons in your kit. Tube-fed geometry, headspace, spring tension, and clean extraction angles matter more when the weather is against you. A gun that jams in a storm is worse than no gun at all. Keep your hinge points lubed, tube springs healthy, and inspect headspace after heavy use or when changing ammo types.